This is more of a, I look at it when we look at race and stuff like that, it's more like a tribe or a team. You got team white, you got team black, you got team brown, whatever. Team white wants to make sure that they ensure the power stays amongst team white. That's their goal. Okay. And letting too many people in the mix, sharing too many resources with others, even though those resources might be, beneficial to and spill back, have effects, positive effects on the economic growth of Team White, it could also displace Team White's power and, in terms of power dynamic. So sometimes what I've learned is that other groups who are not as scarcity minded, they will sacrifice what we look at as financial gain to maintain their power that they have worked so hard and tirelessly and hell recklessly, you can call it all types of things, unscrupulously to gain.
So put in the chat that money is power. I don't agree. I think money is purchasing power, right? Like you could buy some shit, but obviously with the money that black folks consume and those numbers, we ain't gonna, let's please not start quoting off the numbers. We know what the numbers are, what our buying power is. It don't equate to no political power. It don't equate to no.
Not unless you convert it. You can convert money to power.
Well, hold on.
And that's one thing we have not done.
Oh, wait. You messed up my bills, sister. So the fact of the matter is that we spend a lot of money on a lot of things. It has not manifested in real political power, real knowledge, real understanding on how to get things done. That's where the power is in people who have knowledge of self, the people who have the ability to put together projects and move things. And like those are the people that are in power. Most of the people in this America, a lot of people in America, y'all know we have a large segment of Americans that are just not bright, right? And so people who are not bright, people who ain't in touch with their cognitive, et cetera, are the most vulnerable and easiest group of people to manipulate. This is a fact. Like when you don't know shit, people could just tell you shit and you just gonna go on. That's what's going on in America. So yeah.
I don't think it's the lack of intelligence. I think it's the lack of the knowledge of how power works. Because black people are amongst the most intelligent and innovative people in the world, specifically black Americans. Okay, but at the end of the day, also some of the greatest in terms of being disenfranchised. The thing is, there's a lack of understanding of how power works. And that money, even though black Americans are considered to have, the greatest spending power, buying power, whatever you want to call it, out of all other black groups around the world, black Americans have not been able to convert that power successfully. What we do is we go for the quick wins. Oh, let me go get that new BMW. Oh, let me go get those Jordans or those Louboutins. Oh, let me get that fancy house. Oh, let me go get another degree at a fancy institution. Because we will settle for that individual, that quick little bit of power that we think we get. People are going to look at me and they're going to know that I'm somebody. But we don't, as a collective, organize. We don't have the lobbyist groups on our side. Like we don't have our own groups to go out and really lobby for causes that are near and dear to us. We don't gatekeep. We don't practice nepotism. We're not even in positions to help other people, other minorities, and so it leaves us to be the most disrespected. I can't be mad at
those groups. You might not be a part of those groups, but a lot of us are. So it's like when you're saying these things, it sounds weird because it's like a lot of us are in these spaces, and we are, collectively organizing and pushing the things that we want to at a local level, at a state level.
Are you Black American?
Yes.
I'm not.
Okay, I'm only speaking for Black Americans. That's all I'm speaking for. I don't know about everybody else.
But a lot of people
Tim, you better cut it out.
Black American.
With your white ass.
Yeah, so
my daddy's black.
Let me say this to you.
My dad's black. That makes me black. That's what they say.
You better stop, Tim.
Hold on. So, sister, let me tell you something. Sin is impacting lives, right? Well, like sin is having an impact on all types of lives here in New York, right? So am I. So the work that we do, we're doing what we got to do. That's number one. And you and I agree on certain things. Yet when you came in, you just chose us. So I said, push it and go. It's not that like. Why wouldn't you add on to it? Like, we're not against each other, and we shouldn't be having a communication where we trying to prove one person's point is more valid than the other. Like, you started that way, and you're being disrespectful to people who are actually doing the work. So please don't say, I agree with you about the overall buying attitudes and how we approach consumerism and all that, right? But people are out here doing the work. So please don't say we're not. Say that you are not. Right? Tell us what you tell us what you are doing. Me and Sin don't have to go back and forth because she looks out for me and I would look out for her, right? In that regard of what our impact is. She's having an impact, and I won't let that statement that you made just go without responding to it. People are out here doing the work.
Okay, I'm not denying that. I'm only speaking from my perspective on Black Americans. I think that Black Americans have a lot to learn from other minority groups because they've come in and in less time have done more. Now, it's funny, the people that are in the chat that are sitting here coming for me.
Do you live with
let me just say this.
So you're telling me a straight.
It's the people in the chat coming for me talking about I'm a broke N-word and all this stuff. These are people, it's very same people who only, their whole identity is wrapped up in their fraternity and sorority. Miss Renita, Kappa Alpha Psi, and Mr. Fishbelly, Masonic. Okay, y'all are part of the problem. That's what I mean about the little quick, cheap power grab. Instead of helping out your community overall, you're like, well, I'm good. I got my little clique, and we all look out for each other. We all got jobs. We all paid. That's what I'm saying.
Do you live with
you got something to say? You come up on the stage.
Do you live with Asians? Do you live with Spanish people? Do you live with Polish people? Do you live with other, like, have you spent years of your life living in those communities? I'm curious.
My mother's Puerto Rican, so I see the difference in the way that Latin Americans should be.
Listen,
you got
something is weird.
She went from black to white to mixed to Puerto Rican. Oh my God.
Wait, Mel.
Go
ahead, Mel.
Kimberly, you better stop, Kimberly.
Yeah, wait.
Are you black? 1 second, Robert. Are you black or Puerto Rican?
My mom is Puerto Rican.
Then why did you switch?
I speak Spanish.
What is
What's
your
your
mom?
father?
She
What is your
keeps
father?
telling, no, what is she? Why she? Why
She
we gotta
claims
give
right
her
now.
the
She
parent?
just claimed her daddy black, her mother's Puerto Rican. Other
So-
times she claims she white, okay, and she has her name Kim on her first account,
Mel, help
bashing
us
black
out.
people.
Whoa.
Now she don't know what she is. She confused, guys.
When I have my picture up, everybody call me white, and I told them even in real life, people look at me as Puerto Rican. They don't see me as white until I correct them. I say I'm black.
Texture of your voice
Wait,
sounds like that of a Caucasian person.
Wait.
Yeah, you sound Caucasian.
See, the point you be missing it. Can you give me that math again, please, Mel?
My mother is Puerto Rican. She's a white Puerto Rican. My dad he's black, but he's a light-skinned black dude. I look like I'm Puerto Rican. Nobody has ever guessed it. No one has ever confused me for a white person, other than on the app based on my voice. In person, people think I'm biracial or they think I'm Hispanic, point blank. And I identify as black.
Great.
And it's Santos, your last name.
Wow.
That's my mother's maiden name.
Chat and Mel are too quiet right now. This is I'm not used to this.
You hear me thinking, Dupree?
Yeah, because she is her daddy black, so she knew to come off the mic and say, yes, that's my mom's maiden name, because I was about to check her ass. Really? So your father didn't recognize you because you are the...
No, he recognized me.
There's time for everything. I've never met a
And my mom has always
Didn't say
told
you
me
were
I was black.
Puerto Rican.
My mom has always told me I was black, because she's the only one in her. She's the only one in her family that got with a black guy.
My mom tells me I'm black.
Kim, you remember you told me that you got a nose job so that it could align with your wig?
I did get a nose job. Because my nose was one of the things I was very insecure about. I wanted to look like my Puerto Rican cousins who had the cute, feet.
She told me season 1 that she got a nose job so it could align with her wig. That's what she told me.
I know you lying.
You talking but down the
Yes.
No. What are we doing?
I would be really ashamed of my black features. I did. I was very ashamed of my black features. My mom always told me I was beautiful, but I wanted to look like her. My mom always
she
coming
admitted
but
to
I wanted
it.
to
She
look
knows.
at
She
her.
said it to me.
Wait.
Yeah, I did get a nose job.
Let me ask you a question. Why are you talking bad about Jordan but getting nose job?
Because I did not like my black features. I didn't think that I looked good. I thought it made me look masculine.
But why not get on the stage?
Slow
and be like,
down.
Did she just
Slow
say she don't
down.
like
Y'all
her
not
black
slowing
features,
down.
but she's black?
She said she didn't like her black features.
That's wow. Well, I'm a man.
I've done a lot of
myself
self-work
from the
since
conversation.
So
I'm a
today,
man.
do
I'm gonna
you embrace the part of you that is black? Do you embrace that?
Yes, I do. But I have been victim of featureism.
Chat. She said ChatGPT is her therapist, so she's worked on herself.
Oh my. Okay, so you embrace the black part of you now, but you think that black people have something to learn from other races.
Yes. My father's side of the family is so disjointed, it's not even funny. I'm not saying my mom's side is perfect, but I have learned about community from her side of the family. And it's really sad. I see the impacts of, I guess, systemic racism and everything in America. One of the goals is to keep us divided. And I think a lot of us are victims of that. Now, there's some people who find their groups. So, again, I'm not mad at y'all. That's part of the AKAs and the fraternities and all that stuff. But you have to realize that you're not, you're the exception, not the rule.
You only speak in stereotype and phenotype. That's the only language that you understand. And it's weird that you can throw a blanket statement like that when you that isn't even your experience, when you actually have the honor to be in community with black folks. That is an honor. Let me tell you about black people. The most peaceful people I know are black folks. You know why? Because we ain't burned this son of a bitch up a long time ago, because we could have. Systemically, we are consistently starting behind the starting line, and yet and still, we still manage to succeed. We don't have the barriers of entry that other races have, and yet we still succeed. We don't have a whole system on our backs that works against us, including the medical field. That nose job, I bet if they saw you as black and you had some pain, they would question regardless if you acknowledge the black that is within you, society sees that, and they would treat you as such. So the fact that you look at black people the way that you do shows us, including with the nose job that you got, that you have a problem with yourself. And so the work that needs to be done, and I say this in love, is to do some researching on the black part of your family, because there should be some pride there. Because black people are some of the most loving, empathetic people I've ever met in my life. Because we haven't conquered nations. We haven't put blankets on full of smallpox on an entire race of people to kill them off. We also haven't killed their only means of food sources. We also haven't taken over countries. We also didn't put people on ships in the millions and sent them over to a country that they didn't know to tell them that they were less than. We also have never created a law that told people that you're only 1/5 of a person, 3/5 of a person. All of the things that have been done to us, and yet and still we are here, there should be a level of pride that you have, because that resilience in black folks is in you. So I suggest that you look more into the black parts of you, get an understanding, and have some pride, because you're actually missing out on an amazing part of who you are by talking the way that you do. And I'm done.
I completely agree with you. That was many years ago that I got the nose job. I went to Columbia and I got it done. And yeah, I did. I was a fan of wigs. And it just, again, my whole look did not come together right. That's one thing that most people who are mixed race know, that some of us don't come out, like the features don't always go together. I always was jealous of my Puerto Rican cousins, the ones that were full Puerto Rican. I was always jealous of their cute features. And I realized that a lot of that was rooted in internalized racism and self-hatred, anti-blackness. But at the end of the day, I've worked through it, and I'm working through it.
That's all I ask, is that you work through it, because it's beautiful over here. It is beautiful over here. I'm telling you. Like, think about it. Think about all the things around the world that have been done to Black folks. And yet we're still here. Think about that.
I love my broad nose. I love
I don't
now,
have
my shit could have, look, I'm going to be honest with you. My shit could have went, look, my shit could have went loose. I'm glad it stopped. Like, where it stopped at, let's be clear. And I'm glad it has a nice shape. Well, that was a close call, but I am proud of my broad nose. I feel like the king of Zumunda. Like, I love my African black large nose. I love it. I'm sorry, I was just venting, but go ahead.
I want to share something else that might help too a little bit. And sister, I hope this helps for you as well too. A lot of times, and I'm not saying that college is the way of learning something, but sometimes as Black people, we need to learn how our people have experienced things, maybe in different parts of the country or in different families. Our families are usually the first level of how we learn about our Blackness and our culture. But, you know, when we get to those ages when we start striking out on our own, we get to learn a little, hopefully, I would think, you would meet people, Black people from different parts of the country, Black people from different parts of the diaspora. And as you talk to them, you get a little bit of a better sense of, you know, not only what we've gone through culturally or even knowing where to go. For me, growing up in Gary, I always understood white flight, at least from Gary's perspective. But then when I met people from Detroit, I understood the politics around that, which tells me a little bit about the people around that. And different places where I would go, I would learn bit by bit by bit. Sometimes that helps you out in discovering who you are, because then you start figuring out, to the comment of, well, this is what I think Black people can do. You start figuring out what has been done, and also and maybe appreciate what people are trying to do as well too. And sometimes it can also be a help to you in certain situations. I have a buddy of mine, and we still laugh about this day. This happened about 30 years ago, so keep it in mind. He had a recruiter that was trying very hard to get him to move to Martinsville, Indiana. And I remember I was at Ford. He called me. He said, "Pierre, this recruiter is telling me about some suburb in Indianapolis called Martinsville. I hadn't heard of it." The significance of this is that Martinsville is a very well-known racist part of it's in southern Indiana, and outside of anything with Bloomington Normal, at least it's a little bit better now, but southern Indiana is racist as hell. Used to be the Klan capital literally in 1930s, 1940s, and he still had a generation that lived about it. Make a long story short, the recruiter was trying to convince him to live in Martinsville, which is about an hour out from Indianapolis. This is like telling somebody that Toledo is a suburb of Detroit, or that Milwaukee is a suburb of Chicago. But they were trying to do it because they wanted to bring a Black person on without thinking about where they would live, or thinking that they would be stuck in Martinsville and be okay with that. If my friend had not called me, if I had not expressed that to him, this is what's going, this is what happens in Indiana, don't take the job, he probably would have taken, I'm not going to say he would have taken that job, but it would have been likely that he would have. So I say all this to say, learn from other people about what their perspective is about being Black. And I mean from everybody, whether they are in a frat sorority, whether they're in a church, or something broader in a diaspora. And each little bit will inform you a lot more, and it will inform you a lot more about what we are as a people and what things are about as well too. So I hope that helps.
Do we have silence now? We got silence.
I feel like every time I talk, No.
It's cool.
I feel bad.
You know what it is. The reason why I didn't get involved in that last exchange, because I think men should be aware of, like, when you go through a back and forth with women, and I just never want to be that guy, because it just, you can have a small debate, but I think when you get into looks and noses and all of that kind of thing, I don't think that's the proper space for a man to be in. engaging with a woman like that. That's just the shit. That's just how I stand on that. Like, so I know I have women in here that are, we reflect the same mindset, and so I will always allow women to deal with women. And I guess this message is for the guys in the room, not the women. But we got to stop that gossip shit and all of that, and we got to chill. We got to chill sometime. And so that's
the most gossipy person saying this.
I'm not gossipy. One thing I'm not is gossipy.
You be gossipy and over talking. What are we talking about?
What do Brian, hold on, Brian. Maybe I could be long-winded. I could be long-winded.
I don't know if you're saying that thing, but I have to address it because
but Brian, yeah, I could be a little wordy. I'm working on it. I could be a little long-winded. I accept that. That is my thing, and I'm learning to be less words. I'm learning. But one thing I'm not is a fucking gossiper, B. Like, ain't anybody will tell you that I don't do that gossip shit.
Did you fit, Robert? You didn't feel I was trying to gossip, were you?
No, Pierre, not at all. Nah, bro, that wasn't directed at you. Yeah, no.
He's the only one talking. He's belaboring. I don't know what's happening.
I was just taking a moment just to acknowledge a moment. That's all. That's all I was doing. And Brian, yeah, baby, I don't gossip, bro. Like,
Robert,
we debate about politics.
Let me tell you why. There were two men talking, me and Pierre. What are we doing? I mean,
man.
Look at who was talking. You didn't
like
say
talking and gossiping two different.
Robert, let me finish. You didn't say like at times that you specifically mentioned this conversation. Two men were talking. I talked a little bit. Pierre talked some. That was it, to my understanding. So what are we talking about?
No. I wasn't addressing that to anybody. I wasn't addressing that to you or him. It was just a thought that was being expressed out loud. That's all it is. If I'm gonna direct something at anybody, believe me, I'm gonna put your name on it. But no, that was no shot at you guys. That was no sub, none of that. But thank you, Brian. You probably thought I was. Yeah, no, not that Pierre, Brian. No.
I hear you, Rob.
My bag.
No, but that is also a fair point. But it's all But the good thing about social audio is that you hear people's voices and you can tell when somebody's just talking to. That's the good thing too, as well. So.
Do y'all think that what's been happening, with the left, do y'all think, like the silencing and all of that, do y'all think that Democrats will be petty and do the same thing when they are in leadership?
I hope so. Me too. I hope we grow some balls and be like, all right, it's find out season,
I'm sorry, I missed the question. Ouch.
Oh, I said with all the attacks and everything that the left has been doing. I'm sorry, the right has been doing. Do you think Democrats will step into that petty bag and do the same thing to them, or you think they're going to do this whole we're better than that and we're here for the people in the country and we're not like them? Do you think that they will be petty?
I think they're going to be smarter. I think I say my tag phrase is don't be baited, be better. And when I say be better, I don't mean don't fight, I'm not saying be on some punk shit. I'm not saying that. But obviously, they are grossly ineffective at combating the onslaught of what the MAGA has put on them. Like, they just was totally caught off guard. We don't know how it was possible, but I think that they're mounting an effort. I'm gonna give them, I'm thinking people are going to move smarter going forward. Let's hope so.
I think with Gavin Newsom speaking out, I think we'll be a little bit more aggressive. It's going to take another person or two to kind of really make it into a movement yet. With Gavin, I think I understand that a little bit. Look, I agree. The Democratic Party, I think, is always going to want to uphold the right ideals because, quite frankly, that is to a certain level, it's brought some people to the tent to some degree. But at the same time, it's Gavin has proven with the whole thing with the redistricting, it's to a point now where they're going to be be forced to kind of hit back. You know, it's kind of, we've passed that Rocky lost to Clubber Lang episode of the for the Democrats, and now we're in the, you know, we gotta get ready for the fight at some level, because otherwise we don't win the title back if we don't start swinging.
I was going to say, they're counting on us not doing it, right? What California is doing is not a surprise. It's literally what Texas did, and they know that we could do it. I think some of them are like, oh, shoot, they're actually going to do something to fight back. And then the nerve of them to say they're going to take California to court is hysterical, right, to do the exact same thing that Texas is doing.
I just want to say, somebody put in the chat that we don't want another Biden. Be clear, Mr. Biden at the time was the best candidate. He was a placeholder. Like, he was the only person at that time that could possibly win against Mr. Trump. He was a placeholder, and for some reason, Democrats went to sleep after that. Like, how could you not know that this was coming? How could you not plan accordingly? Like, and it's a lesson that I'm sure they've learned, because I knew when he got elected that he was a placeholder, and we took a sigh of relief because we were outside of that toxicity of the presidency, but they fell asleep at the wheel. How the fuck could you not know that he was a placeholder? So we don't have anybody else in the party that we knew. Nobody had a voice. Nobody established themselves. They just literally went to sleep. Meanwhile, Mr. Trump and the MAGA movement have been hard at work. Shit. But they've been working, and the Democrats were sleeping and being nice and being cordial and taking on causes that they shouldn't have been taking off. Instead of digging down, planning, strategizing, they fell asleep at the fucking wheel. So to the person that wrote, "We don't want another Biden," yeah, that's a moment right there. I agree with you. We don't want another Biden.
Well,
there's no disrespect to him.
I would love another Biden, because while he was asleep, he certainly got a lot of shit done. So this has been the most progressive president we've had in history, maybe besides FDR. So I'd rather have Joe Biden asleep any fucking day of the year than this foolishness. So I don't know what y'all talking about, him being asleep. That man was served as a longtime senator. He had a lot of experience. He was a fucking vice president. And yeah, he pulled out. He's an older guy and everything like that, but he will be known in history as one of the most progressive presidents. So I don't know. Yeah, if y'all don't like the Democrats, or if y'all don't like Biden personally, that's fine. That's okay. But he got a lot of shit done. Okay, during tough times when we were struggling with COVID.
Yeah, I would also add, I think the other thing to keep in mind is there's two things here with Trump a little bit. First of all, there was money thrown towards him throughout these 4 years. He just, he kept trying to, he was campaigning when he was in that first term. It's an argument for, I agree with you, Robert, there's work behind it. But at the same time, there's money that was being thrown by Elon Musk, by other folks. And this is a president, and Trump is also unconstitutional. So he's not playing by any rules whatsoever. So it's one of those things where I don't want to see I want to see a Democratic Party organized, but I also don't want to go too far and beat itself up over somebody who, and I think Pete, I can never pronounce his last name, but Pete said it best. This is a president, Trump is a president, whether Republican or Democratic, we've never seen someone so unconstitutional, so much into grift, that and so much with enablers that he's brought in. Plus also, to the black vote for about, the black males who voted for Trump, he's enabled a set of people that really are, they're trying to be opportunists at some level. And I think that that's a lot. So I would say for the Democratic Party, definitely get organized. But make sure that you beat yourself. If you're going to beat yourself up over something, make sure it's for the right thing and the right reasons, not just because this is very, very unusual. But it still has to be fought against. And I think for Democrats, we can make that fight. I just think it's a matter of really, again, thinking next level about who is going to be the party leaders and who can lead us into this, or at least out of this crap, basically. There's an opportunity here, but yeah, they will hit back. Like I said, they will have to hit back because that's right now. That's all that you got to do. I'll land there.
You know, one of the ways that I think we still underestimate is, Gavin Newsom wanted to balance what Texas did, right? Instead of going full on and like getting as many districts as possible. Because like they should have known that other states can redistrict also, right? That's going to happen. And so instead of just balancing Texas, they should have been like, all right, it's California, right? We could pull the most districts out of it as much as possible. They shouldn't have been shocked that the other states are gonna, start doing the same thing.
I don't know if they've been shocked. I think it's just come to a head. I think definitely with Texas has got that spotlight because of the with the Democrats walking out. I think it's brought a spotlight to the whole thing. I mean, this has been going on for a while. This whole thing about redistricting. But I think with the state Democrats leaving the state, it seemed a little futile for some folks. But I think part of that was the point of it was to bring attention to that, what's going on. I think it's at least woke up a lot of people in other states about how much redistricting is on the ballot right now. I think that's a big part of the problem too for us as a nation. We are a lot of the things that we're debating about.
Common also is the reason which commands us what to do and what not to do. If this is so, there is a common law also. If this is so, we are fellow citizens. If this is so, we are members of some political community. If this is so, the world is in a manner a state. For of what other common political community will anyone say that the whole human race are members? From thence, from this common political community comes also our very intellectual faculty and reasoning faculty and our capacity for law. Or whence do they come? For as my earthly part is a portion given to me from certain earth, and that which is watery from another element, and that which is hot and fiery from some peculiar source. For nothing comes out of that which is nothing, as nothing also returns to non-existence. And so also the intellectual part comes from some source. Death is such as generation is, a mystery of nature, composition out of the same elements, and a decomposition into the same, and altogether not a thing of which any man should be ashamed. For it is not contrary to the nature of a reasonable animal, and not contrary to the reason of our constitution. It is natural that these things should be done by such persons. It is a matter of necessity, and if a man will not have it so, he will not allow the fig tree to have juice. By all means bear this in mind, that within a very short time both thou and he will be dead, and soon not even your names will be left behind. Take away thy opinion, and then there is taken away the complaint. I have been harmed. Take away the complaint. I have been harmed. And the harm is taken away. That which does not make a man worse than he was, also does not make his life worse, nor does it harm him either from without or from within. The nature of that which is universally useful has been compelled to do this. Consider that everything which happens justly, and if thou observest carefully, thou wilt find it to be so. Do not say only with respect to the continuity, the series of things, but with respect to what is just, and as if it were done by one who assigns to each thing its value. Observe then as thou hast begun, and whatever thou doest, do it in conjunction with this, being good, and in the sense of which a man is properly understood to be good, keep to this in every action. Do not have such an opinion of things as he has who does thee wrong, such as he wishes thee to have, but look at them as they are in truth. Man should always have these two rules in readiness. The one, to do only whatever the reason of the ruling and legislating faculty may suggest for the use of men.
And I think, and we saw a lot of angry people.
Stupid ass scenario occurred, or any stupid ass scenario you can like contrive. Thank you. Have a nice.
I just want to say something.
No. Other than the one you predicted.
Because I asked. Hold on. Everybody done jumped off the mic. Anyway, I was trying to talk to you earlier, Ashley, because I was trying to tell you that arguing with concrete is like futile, because he's going to use the Merriam-Webster definition of consent. He's not going to talk about legal definitions of consent or things about, that's not going to work, because he's just going to say consent. It just means that the person agreed. It doesn't matter if they agreed under duress. It doesn't matter if they agreed because they're about to drown, as in Necro's example. All that matters is that they agreed. Right. So it doesn't, like, the point will not go further than that. So I think we can just like move past, because they're just going to agree that, well, you consented, even though I don't understand how that works, because I just don't believe I don't think humans are property. So I just don't.
It's a fun brain exercise.
No. I agree with you.
Yeah, I'm saying I agree with I enjoy arguing with concrete, because you have to think of other ways to come at his arguments, because that's why I do enjoy arguing with concrete.
I'm not saying you can't
and
enjoy
debating
it. I
against
was just going to say, like, he's not using the same working definition, right? When we're talking about consent and power dynamics, we're usually talking about like the Fry's model, since he wants to bring up Me Too around consent, but he's not using that definition around like there. And to the power imbalance thing, it's not that all things have to be equal, right? It's just that we have agreed in society.
To get there, Neek.
I can't even get
the opportunity to get there.
Wait, can I just quickly?
I'm so confused.
Can I just quickly say something?
I'm so
confused. I agree with you, Neek. He's not gonna I agree with you, Neek.
Hold on.
All right. I'm back. I'm sorry. Every time I try to leave you guys alone to have a conversation by yourselves, it doesn't work out. So, Neek was not. I understand. Someone had a question for Neek, but let Neek land, please. Let her land. After she's done, then guess what? The next person could go, but let her land.
Final point to the idea of like all things don't have to be equal, but I do think that we as a society have agreed to, like, not maybe we collectively agreed, but there are rules in place as to when non-consent does occur. And that's usually like between prisoners and COs, between students and teachers, between children and adults, because we realize that there is a limit to how far we're allowing a difference to occur. And that's where the non-consent, like, because we've agreed that can't be consensual, period, even if there's an agreement. Go ahead, Ashley.
So I just want to say I agree with you, Annie. Sorry for interrupting you, but she's absolutely right. With a guy like him, we can push the legal definitions and everything, and this guy just didn't consent. That's when I asked him, okay, when he was bringing up, like, trying to compare me to children and stuff, and I said to him, okay, do you think it's perfectly fine if a 12-year-old says she consents to having an adult with a 30-year-old man? Do you agree? And he refused to answer. Then Nero asked him a similar question. He refused to answer. And him refusing to answer, we already know his mindset then. In a perfect world, he probably wishes that it goes this way, consent is done, people can do whatever. Because he doesn't want to answer, he just wants to say his point. And it's actually like I don't know how to explain it, to be honest. It's actually mind-boggling.
Yes, but I'm just saying, I don't need training wheels. Like, I want to make my own arguments, and then I'm not allowed to, because everybody else tries to put training wheels on me.
No,
I'm fully capable of making my own arguments.
I wasn't putting training wheels.
I want to try, and he said, we can go back and forth, That's all I wanted, was a back and forth to be able to fully flesh out my point, and I can't do that when I have people interrupting every 2 seconds.
She likes, Yeah, I mean, just in general though, it's like
but she like white people. Like she don't take nigga criticisms, even if they're like constructive.
Yeah.
I enjoyed the argument. That's all I'm saying. I enjoyed the argument. I enjoyed the back and forth. I enjoyed the back and forth.
I mean, like that is the thing with you guys.
So I just
no. Let me just say real quick.
I hardly ever interject on the stage. Like I was quiet most of the day. I hadn't hardly said a doggone word, and then I finally said, "Hey, I have a minute. I do want to go back and forth with Concrete on this. It is a fun back and forth. It is a good way to exercise the brain."
But you don't like.
I'm disagreeing with you. You're defensive.
That's it.
Guys.
Or are women have any other ethnicity?
I do. Yeah. So, Concrete was like, he said essentially, I mean, by his own logic, he would have to, logically say that there's nothing wrong with, his daughter consenting to be my sex slave for the rest of her life. I mean, because we both consented in the scenario, where basically she had agreed, even if she was desperate after, when she was drowning. And so that's sort of Concrete thinks is actually moral. And so if he thinks that that's moral, then that's fine. I don't see how he is, anyone can consider him a moral person.
Yeah, so Neek, you thought Necro was
That's a good question.
I just said to his example.
One second, ma'am. I had to listen to you. But so much my excellent point.
We've been listening to you for an hour.
By employing a degenerate fucking brain dead white dude. That hurt my heart. Anyway, it's basically if I were to tell you that cars are not inherently immoral, and you're like, what if somebody took that car and rammed down a whole bunch of 12-year-olds? Would you say cars aren't immoral then because the car rammed down the 12-year-olds? That's what he did. It doesn't, invalidate. Stop, Dottie. Stop, Dottie. It doesn't invalidate the argument that cars slavery simplicator is not immoral. Is it you? Here, I'll just clarify. Could it be used in an immoral way? And already granted this. Yes. Is it inherently immoral? No.
Who drives the car? So you're talking about putting moral standards. You're talking about putting moral standards to like objects that aren't human. That's why that just doesn't make sense.
Immorality is wickedness. If you're doing wicked shit, wicked behavior, you're immorality. Wicked.
Slavery is
wicked. Like who's driving the car?
Slavery is fucking wicked, homie. If I can group up a bunch of messages and make them build their homes, I think that's pretty fucking wicked.
So
I would actually.
So according to Concrete, essentially, he thinks that people have the right to be able to go, and if they have the right to own a car, that's the equivalent of being allowed to go and kill somebody down the street with a car. To like Concrete, like, do you not realize you're arguing that people should have the right to, like, what my scenario where your daughter could agree to be my sex slave? Like, you're arguing that should be a right?
Concrete, my argument would always be that a power imbalance and is always immoral. Like, you cannot consent in that way. So, I mean, it kind of just, it disproves your entire thing that it
What about employee or employee, Ashley?
That's different than agreeing to be somebody's slave for 7 years. Or however long.
You use the word
always. But it's at will. It's at will, Samoa. It's at any time I could walk off my job and say I quit. And there's nothing they can really do about it.
Well,
right?
It depends.
They could fire me at any point.
I mean, it depends, but I see the point.
The problem is you won't be able to put food on the table if that happens, so you can't make the decision.
But you could still quit and go to a different job. Like if you trade your freedom, you do not have that option. So I can't just say, "Oh, I don't like you as my boss." So I know I
So if
agree
somebody
to this.
says I can be your slave, hold on. Somebody says I can be your slave for 3 days for $1 million. Is that person consenting? Yes.
So
Not if there's a power imbalance.
I mean,
the $1 million shows you the power imbalance. Yes or no?
Bro, a fucking nigga wasn't
No,
being.
they
Why y'all
can't
try to question dumbass little girls and shit on stage like I ain't on here, bro? A fucking slave ain't being a slave
You don't
for
want
$1
the
million,
smoke. Just shut the
bro.
hell up.
Nigga, suck my dick, nigga.
Yeah, I mean, just in general, I mean, Samoa, I just would like to ask you this. We had a law that, if a policeman beats up a black man, but if he gets up after 3 days, is something that would be acceptable.
Man, black niggas get out for doing dumb shit all the time, though. I ain't gonna lie, bro. They be letting them niggas right out. I'm a product of.
Yeah, what was your question again, Necro?
Yeah, like if we had it where like simply policemen, beat up, if a policeman beats up a black man, trying to restrain him, but if he gets up after 3 days, he gets off a day or two. Is that moral?
I don't even know what that means.
That shit.
Well, you're saying.
What the hell does that mean, bro?
Hold on a second. So you're defending the idea that a person engaging in a contract where they can lose their freedom and their employer can actually use force to be able to get them to incentivize to do work.
Work with the hypothetical that I offered. A person is going to give up their freedom for 3 days for $1 million.
So what if I
work with that?
What if I refuse to do work for you when in the contract?
Well, then you wouldn't take the $1 million, right?
No, you'll have to kill.
But the reason, the reason why you would hold on. The reason why you would take it. Listen, the reason why you would take the $1 million. You are giving up your freedoms. That means they can do anything that they want with you, and you're going to agree to this.
Sam,
then what would you call it?
It's not slavery if I have to pay my property.
If you can do what?
If I have to pay my property, that's not slavery.
What an idiot! It's not your property yet.
Slavery.
You're acquiring the property with the $1 million for 3 days. Now it's your property. But the reason of the consent was because the incentive that's being offered for the $1 million. The slave is going to be the slave categorically for $1 million. That's the disparity, right?
What are you talking about? Real slavery. No slave work for $1 million. Let's get back on real subject. Real copy. No slave work for $1 million is disrespectful to my American heritage, bro.
I just want to clarify.
Hold on, why the need to stop?
I just want to clarify.
Let's be told. Those motherfuckers were properties. Now I know that they didn't live in properties. They were properties.
No, let Frank cook. Hold on.
You were properties. You were.
Come on, man. What is it? ESL segment? The ESL? Like, what is this, bro?
It's crazy. Not the dream.
All right. I responded to Ashley because Ashley says whenever there's a power disparity, it is always immoral. That's what she said. Okay?
No, I was talking
right, because you couldn't handle the hypothetical and the way that it was framed, Necro. Right?
Essentially, what you're counting is to
about to have a big house.
Frank whipping your ass, Necro. What you do about it? Frank is whipping your ass.
What is happening?
You were properties.
Frank, look at that French elbow. He just hit you with a French elbow, bro.
That was really terrible.
I've been trying to respond. So basically, Samoa, what you're talking about is where people are getting paid.
Oh my God, James, let me borrow that code.
Working for 3 days. They're not.
No, not working. No, not working.
Okay. So they're for 3 days. They don't have their freedom, but they get $1 million. But that's slavery.
Yep.
$1 million. You're a slave.
Hold on, wait. Hold on.
You really
before you're a slave, you are not in bondage. Now you're a slave, you are in bondage. So for this 3 days, you were in bondage, voluntarily a slave. You can voluntarily be a slave. Yes, that's absolutely right. Do you agree with that?
Yeah. Bro, you know how hard the Africans would have worked for that $1 million? This is a horrible argument. This is a horrible.
Hey, take it easy.
So you're going to argue that since athletes that NBA players who make ridiculous salary, who sell themselves into.
Why is Necro running away from the hypothetical? Stop running.
Deal with the hypothetical.
You're saying
Necro, bring that ass here. Bring that ass here, Necro.
Hold on a second. Hold on, Necro. Hold on.
Yes.
Hold on. What
Like,
someone said. What
$1
someone
million.
said. Hello. It's not absurd. What someone just described in interest servitude. It's a contractual agreement. For 3 days, you get $1 million, and the person gets to treat you like a slave. Yeah, we've done that in history before. It's called indentured servitude, and that is not slavery. Slavery, there's a...
Hold on. No, hold on.
Hold on a second.
The smartest African
Matt, why'd you intervene, bro?
No, I did not intervene. No, I'm just describing what you just...
what do you call this?
asked them. It's not slavery. It's called indentured servitude. It's a contractual agreement.
Nigga, that's a job. $1 million to work for 3 days is a fucking job, bro.
$1 million
to work for 3 days. We all doing that. I'm cleaning cow shit. I'm scrubbing master shoe.
Exactly. So I agree with you.
Just relax. What Ash?
Alright, so every time I try, you guys are not able to do it.